do you know how much you will really get from your Swiss pension? So most professionals think it will be enough, but the truth is it rarely is. And if you don't plan now, you could face a huge gap later. Hey, it's Charlene, and this is the channel where I share my 10 years investing experience with you all for free. Like and subscribe for more. So before we touch on this strategy of how to do your pension planning in Switzerland, and let's take a look at the pension system in Switzerland, the three-pillar pension system. You can think of it like a little stool with 3 legs. If one leg is missing, well, you will not sit very comfortably, right? And the first pillar is the state pension. It's called AHV or AVS. It's mandatory as long as you have a job here. You pay in, your employer pays in, it gives you a basic retirement income. But basic really means basic. For example, if you work in Switzerland for the entire of your life, let's say 40 plus years, and then the money you receive eventually might be just enough for some pasta and potatoes, but maybe not for champagne and St. Moritz, okay? And the second pillar is your employer pension, and this one feels a bit, let's say, nicer. Your company contributes, you contribute, and the fund invests, but with a very low return. And it helps you keep part of your lifestyle, basically. But still, don't expect it to fund your dream villa on Lake Geneva, for example. And the third pillar is your private pension. And this is where you finally get some control. Pillar 3A comes with tax perks, the government's little, I would say, thank you note for you. So some people may also mention Pillar 3B, but you don't let the name confuse you, okay? So it basically means just a normal savings or investment account. Money you set aside and manage yourself. And unlike Pillar 2 or Pillar 3A, it's not officially part of the pension system. However, I will say your own investment account, or some people call it 3B, is really the leg that fuels the existing pension system that you definitely should have. Without it, your little stool will be shaking and your retirement feels shaky. But don't worry, we'll touch it in a more detailed way just in a bit, okay? You know, I once spoke with a friend in Zurich earning about 150K. I mean, a quite decent salary here, right? And she was confident her pension would cover her lifestyle. But when we checked the numbers, the truth was shocking. Her pension together, let's say Pillar 1, 2, 3A, would replace only about 30 to 40 of her current income. And that's, I would say, a huge gap. Many people believe their existing Swiss pension, Pillar 1, 2, even plus 3A will be enough. But the truth is, it rarely is. And even after a lifetime of working here, the payout is really modest. It covers the basics, like I mentioned, but I would say the basics in Switzerland are, well, not very cheap, right? So you see a lot in the news, if you check, all those national newspapers as well, more and more Swiss people move to, for example, Spain or Portugal at 65. Of course, the sunshine is nice, but let's just be honest. They go because their money goes further there and it's cheaper to just sip sangria on the beach than pay rent in Switzerland, right? And here's one thing. So even if you work your whole life in Switzerland, the pension is still modest, like I mentioned. I see some people who work there their whole life in Switzerland for 40 plus years, and in the end, they're only receiving about, I would say, 2,000 for first pillar, 1.5 for second pillar if they don't have their own 3A or investment account. So let's say with 3 to 4,000 per person, you cannot do much here, right? So especially if you do not own a property and you still need to rent, not to mention if your health situation is deteriorating and you need to spare some money for seeing a doctor from time to time. So I would say it's really designed for basic living, not for financial freedom. And like I mentioned, if you do not know where to start fixing this gap, I will go to. I put together a free 90 minutes investment training made for total beginners. with 5 simple steps to build your first investment portfolio here in Switzerland, retire early, and live free. You can just DM me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. I will send it to you right away. So now imagine you're an expat, not local, who only moved here in Switzerland a few years ago, or someone who took some years break from work to raise children or study abroad, for example, or study here as well. So your contributions are even smaller because you work less, which means your pension will be even more mediocre. And this is why planning matters, because the system will not automatically give you the retirement you dream of. You need to take control, let's put it this way, to fill the gap yourself. Okay, now let's talk about buying back some missing years as you do your pension planning here in Switzerland. And here is something I would say many people do not realize. If you have gaps in your pension contributions, you can actually sometimes buy them back. So in Pillar 1, the stick pension, if you skip payments, maybe you study abroad or took time off, you can actually pay up to 5 missing years. It's like catching up your Netflix subscription, right? And in Pillar 2, the employer pension, you can also make buy-ins. And this happens if you change jobs, work part-time, or move to Switzerland later in life, as an expat, for example. So you basically top up your pension pot to fill in the missing years. And the good part, and these buy-ins are tax deductible. So the government basically gives you a little thank you for plugging the gap. But here is the warning. Okay, it's not always the smartest move. So basically you are locking your money into retirement, and the returns can be so mediocre compared to investing by yourself. So yes, you can buy back missing years, but in a lot of, or I would say most cases, buying back your pension does not making much sense. And it's mainly because of what we call in finance opportunity cost. And what I meant by that, so buy back Pillar 2, sure, you save some tax, right, for 1 year only, and then your money sits there, I would say boring. Tiny return is just like cash on a Swiss diet. So instead, if you invest it elsewhere, like stocks, ETFs, real estate, or even cryptocurrency, suddenly your money's at the gym, growing muscles instead of just plain walking, let's say. So that's why I said in a lot of, or most cases, buying back your second pillar doesn't make much sense, because there are better ways to use or invest the money. And now let's talk about Pillar 3A planning. I see actually many people stop at Pillar 1 and 2 and they think that's enough. But the truth is, it rarely is. And that's where Pillar 3A comes in. So finally, a part you can control a little bit. You choose how much, you choose where it goes. So equities, bonds, mixed strategies, it depends on your age. If you're young with decades ahead, going full equity makes sense. For example, that's usually what I do. And the sweetener is tax savings. It feels good, right? But here is the reality check. So working 40 years, Pillar 1 gives you around, let's say, 2,000 per month, slightly better if you work, longer. And Pillar 2 might add another 1.5 to 2,000 per month. And now let's talk about Pillar 3A. And this one depends on how much you save and how well you invest. Let's say you put in around 7,000 every year. Do that for 40 years. And if you invest well, you could end up with over, I would say, 1 million. And if you don't invest well and the performance is bad, it might be only a few 100K, like 200K or 300K. So it sounds like a really big difference, right? But again, here is the question. In Switzerland, with another hundreds of thousands, how far does that money go, right? So your rent, your insurance, a few bags of Migros or Gulp groceries, basics are covered, right? Maybe. And if you talk about freedom, not really. So it's like okay-ish. So, but it's not the life most of us dream about, right? So if you really want freedom, you need to invest outside of the system too. Start the investing journey by yourself as soon as possible. And this is where it gets real, investing by yourself outside the 3 pillars in Switzerland. And here, you're not just stuck with limits. You are not locked into retirement. You decide how much, you decide when, and you decide where. Based on your investment goals, understand stocks, ETFs, real estate, cryptocurrency, and build up your own investment strategy. Your money finally gets to work, and it's not complicated at all. And yes, you may have heard that investing comes with risk. Markets go up, markets go down, but the time and discipline turn the chaos into growth. And the best part is really where freedom is built, not just survival money. It's real choice, retire early, work less, live where you want. So just a little conclusion, if you do pension planning today, don't stop it at pillar 1, 2, and 3A. Learn to invest by yourself. It's not complicated, and you do not need a finance degree or mathematics background. Don't feel scared. And if you don't know where to start this journey, I've actually really got you. I prepare a free 90 minutes training. It's made for total beginners who live in Switzerland. 5 simple steps to build your first investment portfolio. You can send me a DM on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Me or my assistant will send you the training right away. So I will see you inside the training.